This video is part of the Talented Creators collaboration, and the theme is summer, and one must be a birdhouse, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after the first project. Okay, our first project in this video is a stand-up flagfish. Since we're saying the theme is summer stand-ups, this stand-up is a fish with patriotic colors and patriotic flowers. And I'm just showing you the bouquet with the flag colors and design on it, and I got that last year from the Dollar Tree, as well as the fish last year from Dollar Tree. And then I always have some tumbling tower blocks on hand, and you're only going to need 6 blocks for this project. So we're going to glue 2 together, and we're going to do that 3 times. You'll notice I rubbed off the price tag on the inside or the back of the fish, and that's the spot you see where I sprayed it wet to scrape the price tag off. And I'm just showing you how I'm gluing the tumbling tower blocks together. I'm going to do half Elmer's wood glue, half sparkly hot glue, because that's all I had. We'll just do half and half for those. I have this sample paint from Lowe's. It's satin paint and it's kind of runny, so I added some baking soda. Baking soda. I always get baking soda and baking powder mixed up. So anyways, I added some to the paint, and then I painted the backside or the inside of each fish. And then I came in with my scrunched up piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to do that a lot in this project. I'm going to paint it, dry it, sand it, paint it, dry it, sand it. I also decided to draw some lines on the inside part that match the outside lines, sort of to like give me an idea of how to distress it and everything. I just kind of want the lines there, and you'll see the front and the back there. Now we're going to come in with the color. So I had to make sure I was doing the colors in the right place, right? So for the way they stand up. So we're doing red on the inside and blue on the outside, and that's going to become the top and bottom. And this paint that I have is almost seen its day. It's kind of chunky and thick. It is acrylic paint. But I kind of like that it's like that because I wanted a very distressed sort of look on these fish. Like they've been hanging out on a fence post by the ocean for their life. Here I'm coming back with some brown chalk paint, and that's going to give it a nice distress. And again, I would have let the blue dry, sand it, and then come in with the brown and sand it. Now here I am at the end, sanding it again. And I did put a little bit of white and distressed brown in the middle as well. But I love how the red and blue came out. And you'll notice me putting in some of that distress there in the middle. Okay, so here's our tumbling tower blocks, our groups of 2. I just wanted a tiny little box between the fish to poke my little patriotic flowers down in. So, we did the half and half for the bottom part, but I'm only going to do Elmer's wood glue on the sides because it's going to be held in there nice, so I don't really need the hot glue, because hot glue acts like a vise to just keep it together until the wood glue actually sets. So that didn't really need to happen here, so I just did the wood glue. And then we're going to glue in some of that floral foam. I got that from Temu. And again, just going to put some wood glue down on the sides, and I'll put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom. The fish are nice and chunky and heavy, so they stay together nicely, but I do put some painter's tape on it until the glue sets. I use some of this fish netting to tie together the flowers and get a good look during the final reveal. Jumping in with a little bit more information about the playlist. Our hosts are AUREA from DIY with AUREA and LOLLI from LOLLI's Creations. We have a guest host this month, which is May from Craftware with May, and a co-host, which is Cindy from Z9 Designs. Their channel links and a link to the playlist will be in my description box below. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. This project is a birdhouse stand-up. So it's a floral stand-up, and it's going to be holding a flag. So it's floral and patriotic. The previous project was patriotic and patriotic, and the last project will be floral and floral. You see the theme there? Okay. This is just a regular old Dollar Tree birdhouse, and I'm using wood glue and hot glue to attach it to a piece of scrap wood. I wanted this to be substantial, have some weight, not being knocked over by an elbow or something, so you could put it on a porch table or an end table, or even on a bookshelf like a shelf sitter. It's going to be a flag holder. The previous project was holding florals. This one's going to hold a flag, and then the last project will hold florals. You see that whole theme there? I think it did pretty good with that. All right, my acrylic paint has gotten really thick and just gunky. So I kind of was going for a rustic look on the birdhouse, so I just decided to use what I had to get some color on it. And I wasn't 100% sure, but I was planning on using a napkin, but I wasn't sure what color the napkin was, so I painted everything, a good thick coat, and gave it a really long time to dry. I was going to cut the stick on the flag shorter, but I decided not to. So this is just regular decoupaging here with the Mod Podge. Painted it on with paintbrush, rubbed the floral napkin on with my finger, and then did another coat of Mod Podge on top. I don't normally do my Mod Podge like that because I don't like it. I don't like it being wet. I don't like worrying about wrinkles. Given the opportunity, I will use my Hippo heat press like I'm doing right here, and I will let the Mod Podge dry first, which I also did here. I couldn't really do it on the walls of the birdhouse just because it was hard to get to, but this is my favorite way of decoupaging, using dry Mod Podge and a hot iron, or in this case, a hot Hippo heat press. And I just use a little scrap of parchment paper to protect the napkin and rub the Hippo heat press over it. And it literally becomes one with the wood. It's just so cool. I love it. So I'm just going to do that for a little bit, and then when everything's dry and adhered, we're going to go over it with some sandpaper, like some nice coarse sandpaper. Now this is one of the smallest drill bits I have, and that's just going to go on one side of the roof. Some people might think, well, shouldn't you do it in the middle? But I wanted the flag to drape a little bit, and so this seemed like the best way to do it. So I just went over the whole project with some of that brown chalk paint. And I think I'm using a wet baby wipe here. Now I just used some regular school glue, clear school glue, to get on some of the green moss, reindeer moss, and Spanish moss, and you'll see this in the final review. This project is a flower house stand-up. Basically, a stand-up that is decorated with floral decor, and it's standing up floral decor. Does that make sense? Okay, so never mind the hummingbird to the side there. It was the inspiration for this project, but it turned out I did not like it and how it looked with this chalk couture background that I'm doing right now. So this chalk paste stencil comes from Temu, and the chalk paste comes from chalk couture. So when I've used one of these single packets, I cut it on the bottom so that I can easily see what the color is inside. And so that's what you'll see me doing here. I've already done it with the yellow. There's the orange, so I'll cut it, and then I'll try and squeeze some out. And if I don't get any, I'll cut it again. But I was able to get just a little bit out. I only need a little bit on this project, so that's fine. I'm going to get a couple more orange flowers done here, and then I'll lift the stencil and put it back again and do the next color. And this squeegee I'm using is actually part of a larger squeegee, and I just cut it with a pair of scissors. I think I got like 2 or 3 squeegees from just one larger one. Okay, so now I'm ready for the green. And I'm using the same squeegee with all of these. I'm just wiping it off in between. Now this one, I tried a couple times to get some green out, and it wasn't happening, so I gave up on it. I found this other green is a little bit darker than I wanted, but it's the green I used at my last chalk couture project. And it has a nice pop to it. So I'll just go ahead and finish everything else with this green. I thought this was a nice summery sort of wildflower kind of pattern. And the fact that I even got 2 uses out of this Temu stencil, I think is pretty good, you know, considering the quality. It's very flimsy, and I think they're probably like too close together, but you know, it came out all right. I was thinking it was just going to be a background, but when I was putting the hummingbird on it, I just couldn't find a way that it looked good. You know, put the top, bottom, middle, side, twisted, you know, it just wasn't happening. So I set that to the side. These are one of those seed pots that I used in a video a few weeks ago, and I'm going to staple that on the back of this house, and that's going to hold our flowers. And it's also going to help this stand up. I just used a little bit of my sparkly hot glue, then stood it up to make sure it was in the right place. You'll notice I cut a section out of the seed pot, and that's because I wanted to sort of press it down against the back. And if you don't do that, it kind of like squeezes out the sides. This way, it actually comes together where you cut the piece away. Now I just gathered some random florals here that were around the same size, sort of mixed the colors together, and I kept them long because you want to keep them long when they're behind something like this. So even though you only see maybe the top half, you want to keep them as long as possible, so you can do that. Now my flowers are going all over the place, so I actually ended up stapling them to the back of the house, and you'll see that in the final reveal. to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.